Man is the only creature that consumes without producing. He does not give milk, he does not lay eggs, he is too weak to pull the plow, he cannot run fast enough to catch rabbits. Yet he is lord of all the animals. Power is not a means, it is an end. One does not establish a dictatorship in order to safeguard a revolution. One makes the revolution in order to establish the dictatorship. Who controls the past, controls the future. Who controls the present, controls the past. The essence of being human is that one does not seek perfection. Each generation imagines itself to be more intelligent than the one that went before it, and wiser than the one that comes after it. Happiness can exist only in acceptance. All the war propaganda, all the screaming and lies and hatred, comes invariably from people who are not fighting. People sleep peaceably in their beds at night, only because rough men stand ready to do violence on their behalf. War is peace. Freedom is slavery. Ignorance is strength. I'm fat, but I'm thin inside. There's a thin man inside every fat man. All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. If liberty means anything at all, it means the right to tell people what they do not want to hear. Men are only as good as their technical development allows them to be. What can you do against the lunatic who is more intelligent than yourself, who gives your arguments a fair hearing, and then persists in his lunacy? The nationalist not only does not disapprove of atrocities committed by his own sides, but he has a remarkable capacity for not even hearing about them. Patriotism is usually stronger than class hatred, and always stronger than internationalism. Men can only be happy when they do not assume that the object of life is happiness. Mankind is not likely to salvage civilization unless he can evolve a system of good and evil which is independent of heaven and hell. To survive, it is often necessary to fight, and, to fight, you have to dirty yourself. Myths which are believed in tend to become true. Progress is not an illusion, it happens, but it is slow, and invariably disappointing. I doubt whether classical education ever has been, or can be, successfully carried out without corporal punishment. The essential act of war is destruction, not necessarily of human lives, but of the products of human labor. Big Brother is watching you. Most people get a fair amount of fun out of their lives, but on balance, life is suffering, and only the very young, or the very foolish, imagine otherwise. Serious sport has nothing to do with fair play. It is bound up with hatred, jealousy, boastfulness, disregard of all rules and sadistic pleasure in witnessing violence. In other words, it is war minus the shooting. Political language is designed to make lies sound truthful and murder respectable, and to give an appearance of solidity to pure wind. The further a society drifts away from truth, the more it will hate those who speak it. The people will believe what the media tells them they believe. Every record has been destroyed or falsified, every book has been rewritten, every picture has been repainted, every statue and street building has been renamed, every date has been altered. And that process is continuing day by day and minute by minute. History has stopped. Nothing exists except the endless present in which the party is always right. The past was erased, the erasure was forgotten, the lie became the truth. A society becomes totalitarian when its structure becomes flagrantly artificial, that is, when its ruling class has lost its function, but succeeds in clinging to power by force or fraud. Threats to freedom of speech, writing, and action, though often trivial in isolation, are cumulative in their effect, and, unless checked, lead to a general disrespect for the rights of the citizen. War against a foreign country only happens when the moneyed classes think they are going to profit from it. We are all capable of believing things which we know to be untrue, and then, when we are finally proved wrong, impudently twisting the facts so as to show that we were right. The real test of character is how you treat someone who has no possibility of doing you any good. In our age, there is no such thing as keeping out of politics. All issues are political issues, and politics itself is a mass of lies, evasions, folly, hatred, and schizophrenia. All that was required of them was a primitive patriotism which could be appealed to whenever it was necessary to make them accept longer working hours or shorter rations. And even when they became discontented, as they sometimes did, their discontent led nowhere, because, being without general ideas, they could only focus it on petty specific grievances. The larger evils invariably escaped their notice. The very concept of objective truth is fading out of the world. Lies will pass into history. Power is in tearing human minds to pieces and putting them together again in new shapes of your own choosing. The masses never revolt of their own accord, and they never revolt merely because they are oppressed. Indeed, so long as they are not permitted to have standards of comparison, they never even become aware that they are oppressed.